foot if he is fish, so I'm gonna get this guy right back in the water.
Fog is an unavoidable reality for boaters in New England, especially on Cape Cod in late spring and early summer. When warm air flows over cool waters, thick gray clouds of fog back in off the ocean and envelop the coast, cloaking the shoreline. Thanks to modern electronics, fog no longer holds us hostage at the harbor. With a chart plotter to keep us on track and powerful radar to point out channel markers, boats, and other obstacles, we can safely make our way to the fishing grounds using a little extra caution and common sense. It's a good thing because late spring and early summer also bring great fishing on Cape Cod, and we wouldn't want to miss a great day on the water just because of some morning fog. Today, Chris, Megan, and I are joined by our good friend Rus Graham, a marketing professional in the fishing and boating industry whose list of clients includes Simrad Marine Electronics, makers of the chart plotter and radar we depend on aboard our 32-foot regulator. Our destination is Monomoy Shoals at the eastern end of Cape Cod. It's where Nantucket Sound waters mix with Atlantic Ocean currents, rolling over sandy shoals and creating current rips that attract sand eels, squid, and ultimately striped bass.
Hey guys, just ran out here, Rus Graham, Chris Megan, On the Waters Angling Adventures. And it was quite the adventure. You know, we thought the fog was pretty bad. When we left the harbor, it actually got worse. And we just arrived out here at Monomoy. We're gonna fish shoals today. The first one we're gonna hit is a handkerchief shoal. And geez, Rus, you and I have been talking about getting out here and fishing for how long now?
It's been a few years lately. Yeah, it's been a while.
We've known each other many years in this industry. You meet a lot of good people, and Rus is one of the good ones. Rus, what we're gonna do is we're gonna come right up on this edge, and what we'll do is if we don't see any action, what we might do is throw 2 trollers out the back and just start covering water. As soon as the rods go down, that'll tell us kind of where they are, and they'll kind of lock in on that one spot.
Perfect.
I think this is the 12 can and this is the 14. We're gonna kind of make a living between these.
That's pretty wild. It's amazing how much detail they give you. You know, back in the day we were talking, I've talked with pros out there, and they had an idea what was going on in the 2D graph, and when they started seeing the 3D graphs, then they realized that although they knew something held fish, they weren't quite sure what that was holding the fish. And that 3D really just allowed them to see where on structure things are sitting and what's happening with the current in the structure and how to play that. Just amazing. And being able to cover such a wide swatch of water when you have side scan technology.
So first thing we're gonna do is start with a little troll. Just see.
I think we should, just until
we find them, until the rip starts up. As soon as we locate fish, what I'll do is I'll put a mark, a waypoint on there, and then we'll start working that area in the fog, throwing top water.
If the birds start to get active too, we might be able to pick them up on the radar. Oh, you got one on that? Or?
I already got a white on this. I'm gonna go white and yellow.
All right, I'm gonna start letting line out. We'll just troll in that direction.
I'm not going too far back because we'll be in 8, 10, 15 feet of water. Boy, we got this place to ourselves right now. That's either a really good thing or a really bad thing. Here's the line starting to make up. So we were off the line a little bit. I'll run out to the 14 can and then we'll spin around and come all the way back on that edge. So we're going about 5 knots, so these are swimming pretty good. We're not in a lot of water at 17, 18 feet. Anything down below, we'll see these. The trick to this is running that edge just fast enough that keeps you above the rip, but allows your lures to swim right along the rip line.
Oh, here we go, fishing on.
Fish on, nice. Okay, well, I'm gonna keep it in gear.
Yep.
See if we pick up a double. We're just barely in gear.
So just like you were saying, as we work the rip line there, we're on the calm side, and as we kind of walk along it, the bait started swinging with the current into the edge of the rip line, which is where the fish are feeding.
He's fighting well.
Let me know if you need me to clear that other line if he's going left.
Yeah, if he's going left, you might duck underneath. Oh, I just saw one. I just saw a fish cruise right through this edge.
Yeah, he's a little guy. A lot of fun though.
There we go. I'm gonna lift him in just because he's got the trebles. You can grab the plug. No,
Not
that's
as bad as I thought. Look at this fish. Look at all the sea lice. That's very close to the slot. The new slot now is 28 to 35.
Okay.
So that's very close to that 28 side.
Is that slot up and down the coast?
Yeah, so what they did is
Good.
they changed it this year. They wanted to kind of protect those big breeding fish.
Yeah, perfect.
And that's pretty typical for the size in these rips because they're out here feeding on squid right now. And with the heavy current you get in these rips, you don't get really necessarily huge stripers because they don't want to fight this current. But you get these kind of smaller athletic ones that are a lot of fun to catch.
Just beautiful. Excellent.
Let's get back out there, and once we start getting knockdowns and doubles, we'll put a waypoint. We're just gonna stay above them and cast. You know, when you're out here in fog, the one thing you want to do is constantly keep your head on the swivel because you'll find yourself looking at this so much, kind of finding yourself, you'll look up and it'll be a boat right in front of you. And, you know, sure, he's on the radar, but you get so distracted. Fog plays tricks on you.
And even though everything's telling you what you're doing.
Everything is. It's just, you get out here and it becomes very, very deceiving. We're not even on the shoal, and you have a beautiful line that's set up there, and I know there's another one 100 yards there, and there's another one 150 yards there. The problem is that it's hard seeing the birds right now. So you may be 300 yards up, you may have just birds working.
And these shoals shift every winter with all the storms. From year to year, you don't know that the map is necessarily going to tell you
Yeah, it's exactly
right where
it.
the
You can
shoals
see
are.
it right there, Kevin. I'm going to work my way back in.
But this looks good. And basically what you have here is you got a bottom that does this, that goes up and down. And so when the tide picks up and it's moving along, you've got this much water, and then all of a sudden it comes across a shallow area and gets squeezed. So it speeds up, and then it also sends these waves up toward the surface. That creates this turbulence, and that creates this feeding zone for these stripers.
I thought I just saw a bird about 70 yards up on the left there. It's crazy these birds can still find bait and this stuff.
Unbelievable. Yeah, there was one spot I could smell it. You could smell the fish for just a quick whiff.
You're marking some bait. There's one.
There we go. Nice. I'm just barely in gear right now, Russ. We're gonna see if we can double up.
That's a little better.
Little better fish. Oh, all right, then I'm gonna take us out of gear. Kev, out of gear.
You're good there.
About the same size. Now that we know that they're further down this way, let's hold the rips and just cast. Why don't we go soft plastic, single hook? That rip line is right where these fish are gonna hang. And believe it or not, if you're 50 yards above it, we won't do anything, but once we get on that rip line, that's where we're gonna locate these fish. You can see where that's landing, just shy of the rip. There he is. Oh, I just got a whack. There he is.
Oh, right in that wave.
Right on that wave. Now with a single hook, this is going to be a much easier release. Beautiful fish. Turn this way, buddy. Turn this way. Okay. Really fresh fish. A lot of sea lice on this guy. You can see the rip right over my shoulder. What he's doing is staying perpendicular to the rip, just in and out of gear. I'm gonna go ahead and get this guy back in the water. Beautiful fish, real fresh. Okay, what did you say this was?
It's a Game On soft plastic.
Yeah, it's nice. What I'm gonna do, Kev, is you still in gear? You?
I'm in neutral.
Now, if you watch, I'm gonna try to land this thing right on that first wave, and I'm gonna let it drift over the back. Just landed it right on the rip. I'm gonna let it drift over. So right now it's taking line. And then I'm gonna tighten it up. And once I know I'm in that rip, all I'm gonna do is just tease it. Because what's happening is Kevin's keeping us kind of in position. The water's zipping across that rip, and so just by a little bit of action like this, it's the same as a retrieve. But the key is find out which waves they're in between. It's funny how like different parts of the rip will really stand up and you'll have some nice white water. I'm gonna go ahead and retrieve and throw it over that side. Oh, I just got a whack on the way in. There he is.
Nice.
Another beautiful fish, real fresh. I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna nose dive. This is real green fish. Won't have any problem taking off. There it goes.
Right here.
Yeah, right here. Look
They're
at
little
them.
guys, yeah.
What a difference a mile or two makes, right? Oh, that was a nicer fish right there.
Look at how many fish there are. Crazy. This is fun on light tackle. This is actually a kind of a lighter jigging rod, but it's perfect for flinging out these little baits. Got a 5,000 size reel, 30-pound braid. And we're not in the crazy fast current here, so you can actually get a little lighter. There you go.
A bit better of a fish.
Yeah, good size, chunky schoolie. Whatever the small bait in is in here, I don't know if it's sand eels or squid or what, but that's what they're in here, they're all feeding on. Pretty typical for late June, early July for these Monomoy rips to fill up with fish like this. Great light tackle action. You get guys out here who troll and jig wire line for them, but probably the more fun way to do it is throw some light tackle stuff, jigs, plugs, and fly fishing too. A lot of fun fish this size. So get him back in. There he goes. Little Ronzi jig here. Looks a lot like a little sand eel maybe, or maybe a little squid. Whatever that is, that's working.
Fish.
So you hung up or you got a fish?
Oh no, I definitely got a fish.
Oh, excellent.
Little fella, kind of cookie cutter. They're eating well though, these fish. Eating well. This is probably part of that 2015 class, Kev. Maybe the year right behind it, but beautiful fish. Gonna go ahead and dump right in, take right off. We went in, grabbed a little bite to eat right along the shore there up in Monomoy, and you can tell how many seals that are up there just in that one, I don't know what you would call it, herd? What do you call a bunch of seals?
A murder.
A murder?
Murder of seals.
I think it's a murder.
It's a murder of crows, right?
It's a murder. What is it, Kev?
I think it's a herd.
A herd.
Yeah.
So what we're gonna do is wait for this tide to set these rip lines back up, and what we'll have an opportunity to do is fish the back half of that second tide. And hopefully these fish, I think, will stick around in here.
I saw a couple busting right here.
I just saw them there.
Cool.
I say we work this area.
Yeah, probably a good idea.
If you jump up on the bow, I'm gonna nose you right in. You see them rolling? got a whack. Oh, I just saw him swing by it. There's another one on it. You should see the bottom. Get a shot of that. Kev, you should see the bottom.
Bluefish.
Okay. Oh, bluefish?
Yeah.
Leave him in the water. I'll give you a hand. Oh, boy.
And we know what they're eating. So even though we got slack tide right now, we just noticed, Chris noticed in the distance, a ton of birds around, mostly terns and some gulls as well. And it looks like there's just a bunch of schoolie stripers, some bluefish, a whole bunch of stuff right now, pushing sand eels to the surface. We caught one bluefish right away and it upchucked a bunch of these tiny sand eels. We're gonna switch to some baits that kind of look a little more like that, and we should be able to get some good quick action here, some good surface action, but just an unbelievable number of fish. You can see there's birds here, birds over there.
There he is. Oh, slow retrieve. But what was happening, we were just kind of buying our time in between these tides. And I went to the back to clean up a little bit and looked way in the distance. And there were so many birds working that it actually looked like a rip line in the distance starting to set up. Nope, that's a striper.
Nice, Chris.
Perfect, thank you. Guys, this is what we've been kind of grabbing all day. There's definitely some bigger fish in there. I know, there's definitely some bigger fish in there. We've seen them.
There are fish getting marked from the bottom in 50 feet of water all the way up to 30
I
feet.
wonder if those fish are bigger down the bottom.
Might be. But let's catch some of these guys and then...
Yeah, let's do that. Hey Russ, one of the things that we were talking about is what it used to be like without electronics. I had a 20-foot shamrock, had no electronics, and on a day like today, when we launched, I wouldn't go out just because of that fog. But I remember you relaying to me a few years back about a guy you knew that fished this lake for like 40 years, never had electronics.
There was a freshwater fisherman. He had there was a chart that was just made for Gull Lake. It was his lake in Minnesota, and his family had a place on a bay. He got the chart, popped it in, found out that there was a hump that he never knew existed out there, went on top of the hump and just started slaying the walleye. So he had fished that thing for 40 some odd years. His dad had owned that place.
Hump was there.
Never knew it was there. And by having that electronics, having the charts, he was able to see where that location was. So
and we added a whole many more elements ever since nowadays, side scan and all that. And today was a good example of like, we took off, I don't think we had 50 yards visibility, 100 yards visibility.
If that.
Didn't think it could get any worse, and it certainly did on the way out. We arrived out here in Monomoy, and there were times where it was hard to see the end of the bow, and that's where I think electronics has changed fishing, because today we probably would not have left the dock. And the other thing is, I suspect on the way back, we're gonna run into that fog.
You've got the chart, you got the radar to tell you what's really out there, the chart that tells you what should be out there, and then you've got AIS to see if some of those targets are things you're gonna have to worry about or don't have to worry about. It's amazing just to keep you safe and then get you to productive places to fish. I mean, we don't get out here as often as you do. I don't get out that often.
Believe it or
so
not,
when I get out there, I want to be able to get on the fish, and having these things to help you do that is wonderful.
And I know that Russ will agree with me. The longer you're in this industry, the less you fish.
Well, and that's a good point. A lot of people try to get into this industry and they figure it's a recreational industry. I'll have a recreational way of living with it. It isn't that way. It's a job. It's a business. You do your job well, and you can stay in this industry.
Right.
And so you work it as a job, but we do get to do this. I mean, this is work too. It's wonderful.
And there looks like there's some work to be done up front here as Kev's putting us into some fish.
And truly from that standpoint, how lucky are we, right? How lucky are we to do this? We get to go out and we're in one of the greatest fisheries in the world right here, and you know, a plane ride away, we're in another fabulous fishery in the world that we get to go to. But having this in our backyard, fantastic.
You think about the opportunities that you have here as far as, you're all right there.
Good job, man.
I watched him follow it up. I didn't think he was gonna commit to it, but he did. Might be a bluefish. Might be a blue.
So everything I know about this is try to match the bait, do whatever you can to get them to hit. Chris is throwing just a giant white topwater that looks like nothing else around here, and he's having the best luck, so.
Might be a blue.
Oh, he's right on him.
Fish right here.
There, he grabbed it. There he goes. They're just so thick and healthy. So this guy fell for the amber albie snacks, which I was thinking if they're out here to eat sand eels and squid. I guess that kind of looks like a small squid.
Hey guys, we've had an absolutely great day out here. Kevin Blinkoff, our managing editor on the water. Russ and Gregory's own Rus Graham, good friend for over 15 years. Get a chance to get out here on a 32-foot regulator, powered by twin 300 Yamahas that have just been pushing us all day, and especially the electronics, those NSO E03s. But let's get these guys back in the water.
All right.
Look at that. Oh, did you see that? There he is, he's on.
After catching and releasing a few more striped bass, we headed back to Falmouth Harbor just as another round of fog began to roll in. It was an incredible day of fishing that never would have happened without modern electronics to get us safely to the fishing grounds and bring us safely back to the harbor.